Hello, what's up, Moxy fam? Y'all, we are back. Y'all, it is day 2, part 2 of our 2025 Mäksēlife Goal Setting Series, y'all. And I am joined by our amazing founder and certified life coach, Sierra Friend. And I'm Darian, our digital media director here. And y'all, we are so excited that you are here. And I don't know, let me know in the comments, were you here last night? Oh, Sierra, you real zoomed in right there. It wanted to spotlight you. But let me know if you were here last night. What was your biggest takeaway? But y'all, we are talking about why planning hasn't been working and what to do instead. So, y'all, if you were here last night, the fire was dropped. Okay, everything. Okay, it was so good. So I'm so ready to lean into part 2. So if you missed day 1, don't worry, we have it available on replay. It was all about why you stayed stuck and how to move again. And we have that link in our description box. So if you're team replay and you're like, wait, I stumbled upon this video, how do I get to part 1? Go ahead. The link is in the description box if you haven't seen that. But we are on day 2 and we are trying to figure out our way through the messy middle. Okay. So if you're ready, stay ready. Stay ready. Let me know in the comments if you're ready. I'm ready. Hands up in the air. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. I am so excited for tonight. I'm going to do my very best to wrap it up right around the hour mark, like we did last night. I think that was like the first time that we've ever done that. We're trying to keep things really succinct, and I really want this to be something that is just in and out, impactful, and makes a difference for you guys for 2026. So we're going to jump right in. I really just want to start off with reminding you guys that being stuck in the middle, in the messy middle, doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Being stuck means that you just need orientation. It's literally just a focus shift, and it's an orientation shift that we're going to talk about a little bit in just a minute. But the messy middle, remember, is a protective pattern. It's not a personal flaw, and it is experienced by every single one of us. It is as human behavior gets. So my hope is through this time together that we can remove some of the meaning that we make around the things that we tell ourselves about why we haven't followed through with goals, or we don't dream, we don't give ourselves time to think about and plan for a future that's really in alignment with who we are and what we want. It's not a flaw. It's just part of the system and the mechanism of the world that we live in today. So let's jump in. Homework. You guys had homework. Who did their homework? I want to know. So what I asked you guys to do was to identify what your specific messy middle looks like, and where do you get stuck the most often. And then I wanted you to start thinking about what you would do or change if you knew something that you desire would work out, and bring at least one goal to tonight's session. So let me know what the messy middle looks like for you guys. Let us know in the comments. What part or parts of the messy middle tend to get in the way for you the very most? I'm going to put you on the spot, Darian.
You're putting me on the spot. Okay, so my messy middle looks like feeling behind, and feeling like when I get to here, then I can do X, Y, and Z. It was definitely the not like feeling like maybe I'm too old, I'm too young. It was the timelines. I get so caught up on like the timing of things that's sometimes where I can get really stuck at. And then I just kind of think, well, like in comparison, y'all. And I think like, well, so-and-so's already doing that. Or da-da-da-da-da already did that. Like my voice, my goals, my dreams don't matter in comparison to that. So I get really caught up in timelines in comparison.
Yes.
That's my messy middle. And then, yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you, and I'm totally putting you on the spot.
You are.
I did not tell her I was going to ask these questions. What is the outcome by the messy middle taking control? When you are in that space, when you have that goal and you start comparing, what happens to that goal for you? How does it like show up in your actions or your mindset, your feelings about that goal?
Gotcha. So I get very perfectionistic. So then then it doesn't necessarily, like, the joy of that goal gets taken away, and it becomes from an I want and I get to I have to do it. And so then I can kind of get very perfectionistic when I do allow comparison to get in the way of my goal setting.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for letting me ask you those questions and put you on the
I'm
spot.
glad I was like, I'm glad I did my homework, y'all.
I know I did not tell her I was going to do it. Normally we give each other a heads up, but so I'll share with you mine because I'm going through this whole same process too, because like I told you last night, this stuff doesn't go away. And no matter how much we work on this, the messy middle always exists, whether it's by our own doing, our own circumstances, or honestly, just life or the world at large. Just messiness exists. It's life.
Yeah.
Life is messy. For me, I get stuck in perfectionism. I'm like, oh, okay, if I don't force myself to get really clear on what is just the damn thing you're going to do today, I will sit and wait and think and be like, oh, it has to be perfect. I'll get caught up in all the details. And I get exhausted in the details. The details is not where I should be spending my time, but it is exactly where I spend my time when I'm stuck in the middle or I'm stuck in a place of fear. And so what I really hope to kind of bring home to you guys tonight is really see that majority of the messy middle is actually based on fear, which is also why that's the protective measure of us in our brain. So we just want to get out of that space because it doesn't really move the needle for us. It doesn't serve us well. It doesn't allow us to move forward.
Yeah.
So our goal for you tonight, last night we recognized the messy middle. Tonight, the goal is to help you step outside of it for just a moment and for you to see the clarity momentum that can be waiting on the other side for you. I have some examples that I'm going to give you. You may or may not see yourself in them, but we will also have an opportunity for you to take that one goal that I asked you to come to tonight. And if you didn't do your homework, that's fine. You can do it right now. It doesn't have to be written down. Just think, what is something that you would attempt to do if there was no risk involved? Okay. So it's kind of a different way of asking, like, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? But if you knew that there was no risk involved, what would you attempt to set out to do or change or be or experience or achieve? What would that be? And if you're brave enough to put it in the comments, please do, because we want to see in community. That's how we learn, by you sharing your vulnerability. It'll help other people see themselves through your own experience as well. And we have a lot of people here who've done some great work. And so I hope you guys will share with us. For me, Darren, I'm going to put you on the spot again.
Mm-hmm.
So you have some time to think. One of the things for me that I find as I was going through this process myself, which is really honestly where this originated from, was something that I have always wanted to do. Big dream. I've talked about wanting to be a published author at some point, and I want to write. And what ends up happening is when I sit down and I think, okay, I'm going to set a goal for writing, I get really caught up in the middle of that. It has to look a certain way, whether it's how often I'm writing, how good my writing is. I mean, I go into judgment mode, like, okay, are you doing it right? Are you doing it often? Are you sticking with it? And all of this, it completely takes me out of what that ultimate goal is to be in my craft of something that I really enjoy doing. Because really, truly, that's the goal. That's to be using or to use writing as a form of expression. But when I get stuck in that messy middle, I start being so hard on myself, and I end up not taking any action. It's so demotivating to be in that space. So that's mine. That's my one goal I would attempt if I knew that there was no risk. The other thing I was going to say about it is it's exposure, right? Putting your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings in writing for other people to consume is really risky. And so I struggle with in the messy middle of, oh my gosh, what will they think? Will they like it? Will it be good enough? And then I start judging it. And then again, that's where I start to shut down. No action ends up happening. But the moment that I shift into, and I'll bring this example back towards the end after I give you guys the examples of how I get myself out of it. When I do the shift that I'm going to introduce to you guys tonight, I jump back in immediately. And all of the messy middle just kind of goes away. It's still there. All those fears are still there. I just have shifted my focus. So what is your one thing you would that you would choose to do if there was no risk, Darian?
Yeah. And I'm grateful because I feel like yesterday you pointed out that I'm getting to do it. But it was like, being a working actor in television and in film and TV, y'all, I wanna be in those cheesy Hallmark movies, like the holiday movies that just bring people joy, like, that is what I would do if there was no risk, and yeah, like, without a shadow of a doubt. Mhm.
Okay, and then what does the messy middle look like for you for
Um,
that?
the timeline and the how to get there. I think I get so caught up on like, well, how do I like there's just so many possibilities to get to that. And
Um,
also there's so many things that are outside of my control when it comes to that. So I get so caught up on the timelines of things and it having to look a certain way and that takes me out of it.
yeah.
And that takes me out of and also I feel like I get so pigeonholed on it looking a certain way that, I then don't open myself up to the full creative process and what it looks like to be a storyteller outside of those mediums, and being a creative outside of that way. That sounded very like, "Woo!" I don't know if that made any sense.
It totally did, because we're gonna bring back our examples towards the end. So
Okay, great.
hold on to that. But will you share, there's so many good comments of people's
Yes, y'all, I'm loving all of these. Like, it's bringing me so much joy. Crystal said, finally sitting down and writing out the story I had in my head for over a year, stuck in research and planning mode. We have Susan said, lose 30 more pounds. Heather said, my goal is to leave a positive legacy for my children. Perfectly planner passion set, move abroad, probably Thailand. We have, I would retire, move to Italy. Mike said, I would run for Congress. That was up there before. Yes. I'm trying to, oh, we have, I would open a bookstore, purchase my own home, start my own coaching business and work for the UN. I would work remotely and travel the world. If I
wow.
had no risk, I would live abroad for at least a year. I would quit my job and work for myself. Oh, these are
Mm,
run a transition home and have a family.
wow.
Y'all,
These are amazing,
these are
amazing,
so
amazing goals.
thank you so much for sharing that with us, y'all. Like, we do not take that lightly. Thank you.
Not at all. No. All right, hold on to those goals because we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to those. All right, so I want to do just a little bit of review and pick up where we left off last night. So this was the diagram that I wanted to show you guys of what this framework looks like. And so we've got, of course, the messy middle and all of the amazing behaviors and actions that take place in that. And then we've got where I'm at. And notice where I'm at in the present moment. This is going to be really, really important. This isn't where am I starting or where was my starting point. It's in the here and now. It's present moment awareness. Where am I right in this moment? And that's going to be really important. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more because there's a lot of nuance that exists in that space. But really, truly, the goal and desired outcome is where our focus really needs to be instead of in the messy middle. Now, I want to say something because thinking this way is a rebellious act. It really is. Our
Yeah.
society, our media, our culture, everything that we are consuming feeds that messy middle. And again, it's all based on fear. Like, what if I don't succeed? Or what if, like, what if I fail? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't make the right decision? What if I mess up? What if I don't follow through? What if I try something and I don't finish it? What if somebody judges me? What if someone thinks I'm flaky? What if somebody doesn't like me anymore? I lose connection or approval. All of that stuff is really real. And there's constant messages inundating us. And
Yeah.
that takes so much energy and so much of our attention that what ends up happening is that we end up wanting to give up or not really having any time or energy or resources for the goals and really being present in ourselves and our lives, addressing our needs, making sure our needs are met, understanding how we're feeling, and from that place, knowing what that next best step is going to be. Instead, we end up getting stuck in that loop of the messy middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I also introduced the 3 questions that are going to take us out of that messy middle. And the way out begins with asking yourself, where am I headed? And what's the desired outcome? Where am I now? And what's the next best step? Now, here's another thing I want you guys to focus your attention on. These are questions, again, you heard last night, you may have already heard before in some capacity or in some different format. The way I want you to hear it tonight is I want you to see where you may struggle or have the most friction with. What part of these questions? Because all of us at different seasons of life, and just do it right now. Like, where do you sit tonight? What is the hardest for you to identify? Is it where you're headed? What your desired outcome is? Giving yourself permission to dream? Is it feeling like you have a clear vision that is really aligned with you, that actually makes you want to work towards it? Knowing that you're not setting like external goals based on other people's judgment or expectations or societal norms. So I've got solutions for each one of these. Is it understanding where you are now? Is it increasing your self-awareness or understanding, what your needs are, knowing how to identify what you're feeling or what meaning you're making of something? Is it knowing and allowing yourself to actually be present in this moment right now without thinking of the future or the past? And then the next best step. That's really hard for those of us who have a hard time coming down to, like, if you get stuck in feeling like you need to have the perfect plan or all the steps laid out, if you're like a procrastinator, this will likely be one of the things that's hardest for you. And the reason why, even though you may have a long list of all the steps or all the tasks that need to happen for that goal or desired outcome, what ends up happening is we place so much importance on the whole of that process that we don't understand how important that very first step is. And we wait as in, weight heaviness. We weight every single task after the first one the exact same. And so what ends up happening is we're carrying around the emotional, mental load of all of that instead of just being like, what's that next best step? What's that first best step? So as we go through this, I want you to orient yourself of where you think the most friction is with your process, and then we'll find a way out. Okay. So we're going to break this cycle with a shift in focus. Now, you guys, everything I'm going to talk about tonight is so simple, and you're going to be like, okay, I've heard this before, but here's the thing. And it's going to sound like, Siri, you're making this so simple. It is incredibly simple, but it is not easy. And there's a very big difference between the two. It is incredibly simple. The mechanics of it is very simple. And that's what I want you to hold on to and say, you know what, this is simple for me to think about. I'm learning the steps of how to get myself out of it and immediately shift. But it's going to take your commitment and practice, because we will slip out of the self-awareness and having the skill of being able to get out of that messy middle if we're not practicing it on a regular basis. And that's going to be really important here too. Okay, so here's that focus shift more visually. So again, you've got the goal or desired outcome, and then you've got where I'm at the present moment. Now, the focus shift is what's that next best step now, based off of where I'm currently at and where I want to go. Notice that the messy middle is still there. This mist in the back. It's not the most important thing. And this is so important because, like I told you guys last night, we're not trying to remove these parts of ourselves or the challenge. We're not looking for things to be easier. We're looking for us to be better, to handle the stress, the fear, the whatever gets in the way of us taking that action, giving it less importance in our process. So again, it's still there. This is a visual. It's still there. It's still going to show up. It's just not our focus. All right. And again, remember, we're not trying to remove or fix the messy middle. Instead, we're accepting it as part of the process that happens naturally, but we no longer make it the primary focus. Okay. And that's a really big difference, because I see people all the time say, I want to do this goal. For example, maybe it's start a business. Okay. Or write a book. And it's really easy to go into the messy middle and think of, okay, but here's all the things I need to do. Here's all the ways that I'm going to have to shift my focus, my resources, my time, my energy. And then we start taking inventory of all the ways we're being spread thin. And all of a sudden, before you know it, we are in a mess, a true mess, but it's like an emotional, heavy, really incredibly like uninspiring, demotivating shame-based space that literally does not move the needle for us at all. Yet most of us spend our time there. So I'm curious, what do you guys think when I tell you just ignore the messy middle? Like, I'm curious, is it, Sierra, okay, I'll try, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Or, oh, that you're making it sound too simple, or that's ridiculous, or, oh, that feels relief. Be honest. I'm curious what you feel, that initial response of when I say just ignore the messy middle for now.
I feel relief.
You know?
Yeah, I'm like, thank goodness.
Well, and I got that a lot. I was noticing, I was looking at comments in club and then online, and a lot of people were saying, oh my gosh, this was such a simple way to look at something that really has felt so heavy. I felt like I've had like a, 100-pound gorilla on my back. And I realized how normal this is, especially in community, as we're all sharing this like lived human experience and saying, oh, I experienced that too. It takes that weight away. As soon as we pull this out of the shadows and we refocus on what really matters instead of the mess, it makes things seem and feel so much more doable. You want to go ahead and read some of those?
Yeah. Court said, I'm kind of psyched about it, but also realizing how much time I put into that messy middle and value that work too. We have a lot of the messy middle is loud. Amy had said that. We have, this is literally what I needed to hear. We have, it feels like relief. We got, it sounds crazy. Yes, that's also valid. I love the permission to ignore. Sarah had said, I put it on a Post-it so I can remember. It's a relief. Heather said, I feel like, well, where do I go from there? Like, there's like this.
I got you.
Yeah. I swear my anxiety just went up. Yes. So there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And that's, again, it's all normal. We have such a diverse background and emotional landscape in different parts of the process that are going to get triggered based off of our lived experience, our fears, all that kind of stuff. So it's all normal. We do not judge our feelings. We do not judge our fears. We just recognize them and then shift. All right. So our clarity becomes movement. When we get really clear on where we're going and where we're at, that clarity is really what becomes the movement for us. You don't need motivation. All right. What we need is orientation. So it's that shift. It's the orientation shift of where we're putting our attention and focus. And what I want to really impart to you guys, and I'm going to say this 2 times, okay, because I really want you to hear this. You need to create safety in the first or next step, not the whole journey. Okay? We are looking for, and we want, and that inner critic and that part of us that is protecting us is wanting safety. That is all it's looking for. Let me know it's going to be okay. Let me know it's going to turn out okay. And we spend a lot of emotional energy trying to create safety in the whole journey. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not real life. So you need to focus on, this is your shift. This is the clarity. Create safety in the first step. That's where your attention goes, not the whole journey. Okay, that right there will literally change the way that you look at everything moving forward. Okay, so we're going to go into some examples. Darian, the look on your face.
I'm just like, we just need to sit in that for a second. Like, that is like, wow.
It was a really big, like, I grew up in an environment that I never could really trust in the future. And so I don't know, in some ways, I really felt like I was behind, because then when I looked at my peers who had, more secure or safe, like home environments or futures, like kind of planned out for them. And I used to see that as a liability. Now I actually kind of see it as an asset, because it taught me that sometimes all I have control over is today, or this, or right now, or this next week. And I know that there can be danger around the corner, or there could be something that pops up, but I can't worry about that, because all I know that I have is today. And so it's our society has created this amazing convenience of comfort, or the illusion of safety through comfort. And removing that comfort can feel really scary. And sometimes that first step, or that goal, or that dream can feel so incredibly scary to us that just the lack of safety and knowing that it's going to be okay, or that we're going to be okay, no matter how much we want it, no matter how many times we put it down on a piece of paper, it doesn't mean that we're engaged enough to be able to move forward with it. But again, it's because we're looking for safety on the whole journey, or the whole end result, instead of just that one step.
Yeah.
Okay, I am having, Darian, will you read this scenario? I need to go off screen for just 1 second. I will be
Yeah,
right back.
absolutely.
Sorry.
So our first scenario is starting a health routine. So the messy middle trap is if I can't do it perfectly, I give up. And so to shift, you're going to use using the three questions of like, where am I headed? I want to feel stronger. I want to have more energy. The question of where am I now? Well, now I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not consistent. My next best step might look like a 10-minute walk today. And the revelation in this is that movement begins with simplicity, not mastery. Excuse me, ma'am. Uh,
So when we think of setting goals, and the way that we were always told to set goals is to consider that very big vision, right? Those big audacious goals, that big thing that you want to go towards. And we're like, again, we think, I want safety, I want mastery, I want perfection, I want it to go okay, I don't want risk, I want a guarantee. And we spend so much emotional energy there. Okay, we really do. And so this is a common one that I see all the time. So someone can say, I want to start a health routine, or maybe it's, I want to go to the gym X amount of days. That's a very common one. I want to lose, there was an example of, I want to lose 30 pounds. So I'm going to use that as an example. We'll go a little bit more kind of specific here. The messy middle trap can be like, I know for me, when I set gym goals and that's my focus, I am like, if I don't hit that and go 3 times a week or 5 times a week, like I set out to do, I immediately think, I have never loved going to the gym. This is always a goal I give up on. I'll just give it up. It's just not my thing.
yeah.
So instead of reorienting what my vision is, so that I have clarity around what really actually matters to me and what I'm working towards, I give up. Because the messy middle for me is, if I can't do it perfectly and I can't follow through, I don't want to attempt it. And it's protecting me from feeling bad about myself.
Yes.
Right? So how do we shift that? This is what we do. We notice, okay, I'm giving up on something. I'm not standing in my power. I'm not aligned with the things that I know are most important to me, or what my values are. Or there's something that just isn't working in my life. And instead of getting stuck in that, we notice that that's happening. And we ask ourselves, okay, where am I headed? So instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to lose a certain amount of pounds, where am I headed? What is it that I really want to experience? What is it that I want to have? I want to feel stronger. I want to have more energy. Okay. Where am I right now, today, in this moment? Maybe I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm not consistent. This is just where I'm standing. I know I want to feel stronger and I want to have more energy. And I also know I'm tired and overwhelmed. What is the next best step that I can do right now in 15 minutes or less? Can I go outside and walk 10 minutes? Absolutely. I can do that. All of a sudden, action has been made. I've pulled myself out of the messy middle. And I now also have confidence that movement begins with simplicity and not mastery. And that I can then tomorrow say, you know what? I accomplished something. That feels good. Again, this is where I say size doesn't matter. And I don't want to hear people be like, oh, goal, task, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter to me. Here's what I know. If there's something you want to do and it's going to move the needle for you, it's worth your attention and effort. It's okay if it's small. It's okay if that 10-minute walk makes you feel good, because that 10-minute walk actually moved the needle for you, not trying to go to the gym 5 days a week or lose the 30 pounds. So like, let's say it's 30 pounds or losing 30 pounds. That can feel really, really overwhelming or shame induced, or feeling like, well, if I don't hit 30 pounds, well, then I have failed. Well, what if you lost 25? What if you lost 10? What if you lost 2? Does that mean you failed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So we have to reorient our brains and shift our focus to get out of that messy middle where we get stuck and say, where is it that I want to be? Where is it that I want to be headed? And this, again, remember, I said focus on what you feel like is a challenge or friction for you in the process. Again, if that's a hard question for you, or you're like, well, I'm the person that's always saying go to the gym 5 days a week and I'm not moving, I'm not taking action. And so what do I do with that, Sierra? I'm going to give you some solutions. Or if you're like, well, I don't know where I am right now, or you know what, I know where I am. I'm exhausted. I don't have energy, but I don't know how to get more time and energy to do that 10-minute walk. Okay, that's very real too. Again, very human experience. We don't judge. It's it's totally normal, but
Yeah.
there's a solution and there's a way out of that. Or if you have a hard time understanding what that next best step is because you're in your head saying, well, it's not big enough, and man, it won't, like, will that actually be a win? You know, we start talking ourselves down from whatever effort we do give or whatever we do accomplish because we're so hard on ourselves. It's not at mastery yet.
Mm-hmm.
Again, see yourself wherever you have the most friction. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this scenario number 2, working on a relationship or family routines. Messy middle trap. I want better connection and routines. I don't know the perfect structure, and I'm worried I'm going to let people down, or I'm not going to be a good enough mom or a partner, a good enough family member, or good enough, do the things that I'm supposed to do. Those are all very real, right? That's very messy middle that is incredibly common with most of us. This is how we get out of it. We have to stop and be like, okay, I'm not going to change my whole family structure. I'm not going to change my entire family routine overnight. I'm not going to change that relationship overnight. I may never be able to change that relationship at all. Maybe it's time to exit that relationship, whether it's a friendship or a partner or a coworker, neighbor, doesn't matter. What I want you guys to do to take yourself out of that messy middle is say, where am I headed right now? Like, what's important to me? Where do I want to go? What do I want to experience right now in this moment? I'm going to bring it down. And maybe it's, I want more peace and I want connection at home. Or maybe I want to not feel like I'm walking on eggshells. Or maybe I want my needs to be recognized and I don't want to feel guilty for taking time for myself. Maybe it's, I want more help at home. I want more support.
Yeah.
Then you ask yourself, where am I right now? Okay, I'm overwhelmed. I feel inconsistent. I'm beating myself up. I feel totally unmotivated. I don't want to do the things that I used to enjoy doing. I'm lacking joy because I'm so exhausted, right? These are all very, very common. I pulled the most common things that I see in our community, hopefully to hit a really wide range that you could see yourself in. And then the next best step is, again, we're not going to override our entire lifestyle in one night, 1 week, 1 month, sometimes not even 1 year. That relationship that's friction-based or toxic, we may not even ever be able to change that. But you know what we can change is our orientation to that. So ask yourself, what's that next best step? Maybe if I want to feel more connected, maybe we go on a family walk. Maybe we do a check-in once a week just to get on the same page so that we're all working together in unison. And that's where we'll start. And from there, we'll build.
Yeah.
Or maybe I want more support. I'm going to have someone help me with the shared meal this week. So it's not just on my shoulders to do. And the revelation, the aha moment, this is where we start to build that confidence and that momentum, is that consistency is created through the smallest relational shifts and wins. So we don't have to take over everything. Again, that messy middle. If you said, I want a better relationship, I want more harmonious, life, family flow, I want more ease, I want more support. I don't know about you guys, but when I think of that, I start getting very bogged down by the details. I get very bogged down by the, well, what if? And I wouldn't even know where to start. And oh my gosh, I don't have the energy to have that conversation. And I don't know if I'll have buy-in. But guess what? Then we don't do anything with it. And then we just accept and settle for the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no way to live. You guys, we have one life to live. We have one experience on this beautiful planet. We're not here to settle. We're not here to just say, well, everything else in life has completely sucked all of my energy and attention. So I'm just going to just give up on my dreams and what I really want for myself. But that's the society that we're living in. I have been there. I still deal with this on a daily basis. We are not supported to think and prioritize our dreams and our needs and the smallest increments of steps to get to where we want to go. It's just, like I said, this is a very revolutionary way of thinking. When we say live differently, this is what I'm talking about. It forces you to step out of that status quo and to think and act differently. Number 3, improving finances. I don't know where to start. Do I budget? Do I focus on savings, tracking? It all feels too big. The shift using the 3 questions. So again, I know for me, I hate finances, you guys. It is literally, if I never touched my green area of life, I would be A-okay. Literally, it's the one we all have. Like, by the way, in the comments, if you guys want to share what your most favorite area of life is to set goals and your least favorite area to set goals, I want to know. Or maybe the easiest areas to set goals. Oh, I'm curious, Darian. What's yours? My worst is financial, and my easiest is always work and family.
My worst is definitely it's definitely financial. And I'm gonna say my favorite. My favorite is personal and fun and rec.
Oh yeah,
joy, hands down. Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite.
That makes sense. Yeah. So let's say, like, I know for me, I have money trauma growing up. With a single mom, we were poor. We had government assistance. Like, to me, money was like, no, thank you. Like, I just want nothing to do with it. I'm like, I will ignore it. I delegate most of that stuff to my husband. He gladly takes it over. Maybe not gladly, but he takes it over for me. Bless his heart. I think he's here tonight too. But what happens, I know for me, is I'll think like, okay, I'm going to sit down, and then all of a sudden that messy middle starts screaming at me because I have a really dysfunctional relationship with the meaning that I make around money. And it triggers that protection side of me so much that I want to skedaddle so quick that I do not engage with that area of my life in a way that's empowering. And I accept the status quo with certain things. I would rather shove stuff into a rainy day vault than actually do anything mindful with my money because I just don't want to deal with it. But that's me staying stuck in the messy middle. I'm not seeing, if I was to allow myself to stay there, I would not see any momentum or movement outside of that area of life for me. And again, then I end up sitting with the status quo or in comfort. And that's not why I'm here. Hopefully that's not why you guys are here, is to sit in that comfort zone. So you ask yourself, like, okay, where am I headed? What do I want? I want to feel more secure and less stressed. Okay, where am I right now? I'm avoiding. I'm in full on avoidance. I do not want to pick up my computer. I don't want to deal with this at all. What's the next best step? Well, I can look at one account, or I can name one financial goal. That I can do. And that's it. Walk away. And then tomorrow, re-rack. All right, where am I headed today? Where am I at? And what's the next best step? And it starts to build. This is how I built Moxy Life. I've given this example numerous times. I'm not going to bore you guys with it, but it's just like, I didn't know the first thing about, creating a planner overseas and having an e-commerce store. But I was like, I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to do the next best thing. Like, all right, what do I want to name it? Is it available? Okay, great. Now I need the domain. Okay, great. From there, it was like my list just kept growing. The path revealed itself under my feet. But if I had sat down and said, I want to start a planner company and I need to figure out how to do e-commerce and I need to map this all out to figure out where I'm going, I promise you guys, Moxy Life would not exist today. It just wouldn't. I would have gotten in my way so many times. There would have been so many opportunities for me to fall into fear, into doubt, into inaction because I didn't know what that 50th step was going to be, which, by the way, even if it was the best plan ever, it's going to get derailed. It's just life. We can't forecast. We don't have a crystal ball. Yeah. So that procrastinating is a thing. Anyway, okay. So the revelation is facing one piece builds confidence for the others. And that's really real. I experience this all the time when I decide to step into the financial piece. Okay, now here's your guys' opportunity. I want to ask you, what is your goal? So I'm going to help you guys get out of the messy middle. So Darian, your goal. All right.
Yes. My goal is to be a working actor in movies and television and all of that. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then where are you and where do you get stuck? Like, where's your messy middle for you?
Is in yeah, it's in the comparison, it's in the not being present. Also, like, that's also where I get messy, is that I'm so future oriented of where I'm going that I can't be present with where I'm at. So that's where I get stuck at.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. So that's your spot, is like knowing, like orienting yourself with right the here and now.
Yes, that when you said which question you struggle with most, I said where I'm at now. That's where I
Yeah.
struggle at. That is the messiest, and it happens to be the middle question too. So it is all messy for me.
Okay. So let's work through this with you with your example. So let's just start today, right now, as we sit here at this computer. What
Mhm.
do you want to experience that right now? What's the feeling that you want to have? What do you want? What's that goal? You can go ahead and repeat the large goal. It can be a smaller goal.
Yeah, to be a working actor, work in good company. Yeah.
All right. And as you sit here today, where are you right now? How do you feel? What are your needs? What is your season, your resources?
I feel behind. Um, and I also feel, um, yeah, like, I don't know how to put this into words, but not how, like, where I want, like, I'm creative, but not in the capacity or way that I want to be.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
What would
discouraged.
be
Yeah.
discouraged? Okay, what would be the next best thing that you could do, like today, tomorrow, in 15
Oh,
minutes or less? And
yeah.
you guys, it can be intrinsic too, because you
Yeah.
just said you feel that, like I heard some shame-based emotions
Oh,
that you
yeah.
mentioned. It can be something as simple as like, the best thing I could do is actually write in my journal and get these feelings out because I know it's a lie, or I need to get really clear on what my
Yeah.
relationship is with this goal. I mean, it doesn't have to be big.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, okay, so then I'm like, "Okay, I got my next best steps, let's go." It's that where I'm at now that I'm like, even when you asked me that question, I was like, "Oh, this is such a hard question." But the next best step, I think, is just researching, like, local classes that I can check out for the new year, whether it's an improv class or an on-camera class. But
I
also
love that.
yeah, and then you said
Okay,
intrinsically, and I was like, "Oh, like, to be creative just to be creative without
yeah.
let's just create stuff."
Did you guys notice the massive shift in her energy when she started talking about the next best step? It's that simple, you guys. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And you may not do that thing, but you know what? You're shifting your relationship out of that messy middle that really gets us stuck. And you're getting, like, you immediately started to smile and you're like, oh,
I
and
can do
you
next best step.
energy came up. So again, it's simple, but it's not easy, and it requires practice. And it's something that we can't just do one or two times and be like, I got this, I'll figure it out. No, it has to be something that we catch ourselves all the time. So then, so yeah, ask yourselves, like, what's that goal? Where are you getting stuck with that specific goal? You guys had some amazing goals.
Mhm.
For me, mine was writing. I told you
Yeah.
guys
I'm like,
I'm
"Can we work through you? Can we put you in the hot seat now?"
absolutely.
Okay, let's reverse for a second. Okay,
Okay.
Sierra, can you share with us, what is your goal?
My goal is I'll go big. I want to be a published writer.
Yes. Okay. And where do you find yourself in oh, I'm loving this. Where do you find yourself in the messy middle?
Um, I I judge myself too harshly with my discipline and my actual output. So I judge it based off of like effort, size, quality, which
Mhm.
I know is a very common thing with, any kind of artistic creative expression, but I judge it harshly and I'm really hard on myself around the lack of discipline of like write every single day.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, so let's shift using these 3 questions. So, let's talk about where is Sierra headed? What do you wanna experience?
Yeah. Okay. When I bring it down, I'm like, I just want to write. Like, I want to enjoy writing. I don't want to judge myself doing something that I absolutely love.
Mhm. And where would you say you are now?
Um, well, I feel very spread thin, like my attention's all over the place because it's launch season. and there's a bunch of projects I'm working on, and it's also the holidays, and we just moved, and there's so many things, and I keep telling myself that it's an excuse and just make the time, but that's really where I'm at. That's real.
Yeah. So then what would be Sierra's next best step?
Okay, for me, that would be just sitting down tomorrow with my free write and just doing it and just saying, you know what, Sierra, just write for 15 minutes. That's it, just that one thing. And then I have to check in with myself. Like, does that resonate? Is that something like, yeah, okay. And you know what? Hold on, I'm going to up the ante. You know what? I'm not even going to write for the sake of writing. I'm just going to sit down and write in my journal and set a timer for 15 minutes, which is something I love doing and do anyway, but I'm going to make it a thing. But it'll make that thing make me excited and feel like I actually accomplished something. And that's momentum. And I know it will build on itself.
Yes. And I love how you added that thing that's going to make it fun for you, that timer. You're like, oh, I know I love the time. And I seen your energy shift when you were like, oh, wait, I'm just going to do my journal.
I have a playlist. I have a new playlist that I made for writing. I'm like, oh, I'll listen to that. That'll be great. And then I don't have to be the published writer. I don't have to have the perfect discipline of writing every single day or writing a certain amount of words or having it be even good. It doesn't even have to be good. I just need to get in the craft. I just need to do it. Otherwise, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, and then what new perspective or momentum shift does that create? I am very conscious of time. So I don't want to push through this too quickly, but hopefully you guys can stick around for maybe an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. I wanted to add this in because I think this is really important. Again, my goal with you guys is to increase your self-awareness because we're not fixing it. We're just being aware of it so that we can shift and adjust and not beat ourselves up. So what you're looking for as triggers, as like little beep, like a little tap on the shoulder, is how you know you're stuck is if you're in the messy middle, if you're focused on the messy middle, if you are in messy middle behaviors, and you guys mapped those out last night, you've got a list, hopefully, if not on a piece of paper in your mind. If not, that's further homework for you to do. Like, what are your messy middle behaviors so you can see them when they're happening? All right. When you're experiencing a lack of action, when you're like, I keep writing that thing down, I'm not doing a damn thing about it. Okay. You're stuck in the messy middle. When there's no movement, results, or outcomes where you desire it, messy middle. Feelings are a big one. You guys, fear is the biggest emotion. If you are in a space of fear or doubt, you are hardcore in the messy middle, and it will be incredibly difficult for you to find your way out and actually have any kind of meaningful result that you're looking for. Hands down. I'll tell you that right now. If you cannot reconcile and make friends with your fear and have it turned into an ally to help you along your path, it is going to consistently get in the way of you having the results that you want to have in your life. Okay. There's a lot of ways to work around that. That's not for tonight's call. Join Club Moxy. We'll help you with
that. Make friends with the fear. That's good.
Make friends with the fear. It's all information. Okay. I wanted to show these to you guys because we have not shared this. These are the brand new ones. I don't know if you guys know this. These are emotion wheels and a needs wheel. Love these. I think maybe they're on sale right now. I have to move my glasses. All right. So the way that these work is if you're trying to figure out how you feel, like a true emotion, which is really valuable, it has a, you start in the middle here, and there's stickers, by the way. Oh, this isn't showing. It's like blurry, but it starts with like fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised. It reminds me of Inside Out, that movie.
Yeah.
Like all the little people. And then from there it spreads out. Then you can, so let's say it's fear. Where are we at? Because I think I've hit that age where I need like bifocals, which is really, really sad. Okay. So from fearful, you can choose scared, anxious, insecure, weak, rejected, or threatened. And then even from there, you can bring it down even more to helpless, frightened, overwhelmed, worried, inadequate, inferior, worthless, insignificant, excluded, persecuted, nervous, and exposed. So it helps you really get very clear on like, what am I experiencing right now? And once you have that awareness, then you're able to do something about it. You can make friends with it. Yes. And we can watch it pass by instead of letting it absorb into us and make meaning that that's who we are. It's just a feeling. Most feelings go away. So make friends with your feelings. So The big ones, though, that you're in the messy middle: fear, doubt, apathy, overwhelm, survival, exhaustion, frustration, and anger. Those are all very, very messy middle behaviors. Feelings, sorry. Okay, without structure, we slide back. So if we don't have structure or a system in place to help us stay out of that messy middle, we're going to default to status quo and comfort zone 100%, always. And old patterns are going to return. Our clarity will fade. Momentum will stall. And life gets loud. I think somebody said that the messy middle sounds very loud to them. Yeah, that makes sense because the messy middle is loud. And by the way, like I said, the world completely reinforces how the loudness of those messy middle traits. All right, so how Moxy helps you move. I want to give you, so remember I said to think about where you're at with each one of those questions and which one you struggle with. So if you are struggling with vision, if you're having a hard time knowing what your goals are, or setting goals that actually feel good to you. So instead of saying, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, I'm going to maybe set a movement goal and say, I want to move my body. And it doesn't even matter. I won't qualify. I'm going to move my body for 20 minutes, 3 days a week. And that way, that can be, I'm laying on the floor, I'm doing gentle stretches, I'm walking around the block, I'm doing a dance party with my kids, instead of it being this rigid thing. So that to me has become my health and wellness goals. And I only got there because I was willing to sit with the discomfort of 5 days a week at the gym was not going to cut it. As much as I felt like that was a goal I should do, or that was going to get me to some arbitrary weight goal or size goal that at some point I thought was important, I had to go through and figure out what I was really working towards, what really mattered to me, and unlearn all of the things that told me that I should be a certain way or act a certain way or choose certain things for myself. The Dream Self Workbook is going to give you that vision. If you're having a hard time with figuring out and having the alignment of what that next best step is and knowing kind of where you're started or where your starting place is, the planner is going to help you with that. And then Club Moxy is going to help you with momentum to carry out you throughout the year, to help you constantly stay in that space of, how do I move past this? How do I continue to exercise this muscle in a way that doesn't allow me to slip back?
Yes.
All right, I want to talk about this. So again, if your challenge is knowing the goal or desired outcome, the Dream Self Workbook is really, really, really amazing, you guys. I'm sharing this with you because if I could have put all of these pages in the planner and not had you guys walking around with a Webster's Dictionary size planner, I absolutely would have, because everything in here is really important. It helps you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. And it's so incredibly powerful. I know we have a lot of people who are working through the process, but what it does is it reminds you of who you are, what you value, what's important to you, and allows you, in the way that I've sprinkled in the Dream Self archetype throughout the entire workbook, is a gentle reminder and a voice that actually starts talking to you on page 1. It's a part of you that's pulling you forward, even in the pages of imagining what's possible outside of the things that maybe we're currently experiencing or what we believe were possible for us. And it's been designed very much with life coaching principles and psychology principles throughout the entire thing. It's not just a bunch of questions. It's genuinely to get you to a place where you know exactly who you are and what you want in every single area of life. Okay, if you want to know where your starting point is, and this is the system piece, the planners are going to be the where am I at today? So when you sit down and figure out like your weekly actions or your reflections, you're going to be going through your, like, where am I at today? What were my wins? What's working? What's not working? What adjustments do I want to make? How have I learned and grown? And then you're going to sit down and say, okay, that's where I'm at. Where do I want to go this week? This is just that weekly actions and weekly reflections spread. That's going to be that next best step, because it's 1 week at a time. And you know what? Play with it. Don't think of it as the full process that you've got to have it figured out, cross everything off, do it perfectly. Play until you feel like you have found your goal that feels good to you and doesn't feel like punishment or doesn't put you back into the messy middle. So that system is going to carry you throughout the entire year. And then, of course, Club Moxy is knowing what your next best step is from a self-awareness place. We very much focus on removing the obstacles that get in the way of the things that you really want. And so that can take time. There's a lot of unlearning that happens. Sometimes belief really gets in the way. So being in community and seeing other beautiful souls doing the same work that you're doing and knowing that it's possible is something that's really incredibly powerful. And I want to give this visual too, because I think that this is really important. If there was only 2 products that you ever like invested in for yourself. Now this is for you guys. This is an investment in your growth. The Dream Self and the planners are at the very top. And now if it's in the budget, or if it's in your, even in time and energy resource budget to do Club Moxy, I see that as your foundation. But the other 2 work really well together. If you're having a hard time figuring out what goals you want to write, and you sit down with the Moxy Life Planner and you're like, oh, I don't know, I write stuff down and then I forget about it in March, go check out the Dream Self workbook. And that will really honestly help you a lot in figuring out what those goals need to be in the planner. Okay, we're going to wrap this. Look at, we're like 2 minutes.
Yes. So I'm going to share it. Let me know when you see it. Do you see it?
It's spinning. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is on our website. Chrissy's been working on this for this whole week, and it is so awesome. I love this. I wanted to show this to you guys. We're going to do the screen share with you, but you can go to our website under Club Moxy. Our entire curriculum and the layout and format of the program for the entire year and every month is actually laid out in here. So go ahead and click on these. Each tab shows you what the focus is for the month. It gives you a little description of what that month is going to be included in as far as the type of content that we're going to focus on. And it also has some kind of imagine statements. For example, why don't you click on, go to purple. Let's go to October.
Okay.
So you want to read the imagine piece.
Yes. So imagine you'll nurture the relationships that feel mutual, safe, and authentic. Imagine you'll learn how to support connections through small, intentional rhythms that are guided by what seasons allow, not by pressure, unreasonable standards or expectations. You'll feel more like yourself in the spaces and relationships that make room for who you are.
Yes. So every single one of these, those imagine statements are going to be kind of what the emotional focus is that we're going to have for each month. And then I love that bottom question. And this is for the entire year. Every single month, you can see what the whole curriculum is. But for this with, go back to October, sorry, with family and relationships. Oh my gosh, my eyes. What if can you read that?
I got you. What if your relationships met you with a deeper sense of worth, ease, and mutual care?
Yes. So those will kind of give you an idea of what our ultimate focus is for that month. And then go ahead and scroll down. So this is the monthly cadence throughout the entire year. And then every single week, we have a 4-week cadence. We go through and we have set up a predictable pattern. So it's really easy for your brain to know what is coming, what you get, and then where you may want to join or kind of check in with, instead of saying, oh, I have to do all the events or I need to do all the material. This is like it, and we spell it out here. I'm not going to go over it in the live, but this is going to give you an opportunity to see the cadence. What we're going to do, because I know there's a lot of people that are curious with this, what it includes. So on the first of every month, you're going to get a playbook that walks you through that area of life in this format, with an introductory video from Courtney inside of our learning portal in our app. That week, you will have a training with Tracy and I. Tracy is our in-house therapist. She has been doing it for, oh my gosh, was it 18 years, I think now. She's also a PsyD candidate. She's brilliant. We love her. So you're going to get a life coach and therapist duo talking about the common pitfalls, mindset, nervous system regulation. We're really focusing on nervous system stuff because you guys, our nervous systems have been maxed out with all the stuff that we are managing over the last couple of years. So that's something that we really want to kind of hone in on and really honor with you guys as you do this work. Week 2 is an opportunity. So go ahead. Yeah. Is a chance for you to expand your realm of possibility. So we're going to introduce the content. You don't have to do anything with it then. Week 2 is going to be more of an opportunity for you to think about the ways that maybe you're not really connected with the clarity or alignment of what you want, or maybe the things that are getting in the way. It really is going to be an opportunity for you to kind of explore and get your fingers in the content in your own life. And then week 3 is reveal. That's where we're going to do a Q&A. It is our community favorite. Our Q&As are magical. Darren, you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so we have live Q&As with Sierra, Tracy, and Courtney. And what I love most about our live Q&As is that it's an opportunity for people to come and bring their questions. And so you might have a question on, you may be talking about family relationships. Hey, I'm really struggling with how to set up boundaries. You bring that to the Q&A. And the one thing I love is that you get Sierra's input from a life coach point of view. You get Tracy's input from a mental health point of view. And, you get all these different points of views. And then you also get to hear real life examples from your other clubbies in the comments. Hey, I've been there too. This is what worked for me. But it's just really a great community all play moment where we all can just kind of like work through all of the things together, kind of like literally kind of how we worked. Sierra put me in the hot spot a little bit today, and we worked through it. That's literally just kind of a preview of how we do things in our live Q&A as well.
Yeah. And I just get my heart gets so filled from those. It's literally one of my favorite events that we do.
It's great.
And then week 4, we're going to take all of that information and we're going to have a single document called a life map for that area of life. And that's where you're going to get really clear on what your values are for that area of life, what your focus is, common pitfalls and friction points and challenges that you might come across. And that is going to be like your knowledge base for that specific area of life for you that you can take and either put in your planner and set for goals now, or in the future, you can revise it seasonally, annually, as the mood shifts, whatever you want to do. But that is going to be kind of like your game plan. It's your life map for that particular area. I am so excited about this year, you guys. It is going to be so good. And it's in our app, which is beautiful. Yeah. So if you want to see, there you go. There's what our app looks like. Okay, Chrissy, you did an amazing job.
Come on, Chrissy. Listen, Chrissy put her magic all up on this page. I'm so happy.
That's our app. And the app's available on, tablets, phones, iOS, and help tech lady. My brain.
iOS, Android, and our desktop via your web browser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. So you can go to our website and check all this out if you have any questions. I know we've got a lot of people in the comments that are like singing clubs, just saying amazing things about it. I hope you guys will join us. We've got a special on this. Go ahead and pull up. This is our last sale of the year for Club Moxy. So if you are interested, this is going to be available through the end of this weekend. So it's going to expire at midnight on Sunday. And you can get 50% off your first quarter with the code goal setting. Plus, if you want any products right now, once you hit that $150 threshold, you get free shipping. So if you want to throw some products in there, you'll have free shipping because of your Club Moxy subscription, which is awesome. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I want to do questions. So I only went 6 minutes over. I want to do questions because I know I've seen quite a few come in. We could do like 10, 15 minutes on questions.
So if y'all have any questions about anything that we have talked about first off, part 2, y'all, come on. So good. If you have any questions over these last 2 days and how we talked about stepping out of the messy middle and also navigating it, now is the time. We have a question about Club Moxy. If you get Club Moxy, does the first quarter membership end at the end of the first quarter of 2026 or the end of February since it's now December?
So yeah, it's based off of when you sign up. So it'll be 3 months past the sign up date. So if you sign up now, it would be the end of February. So if you want it to end at the end of a quarter, you can go ahead and wait to sign up, but you do miss that discount. That's the only downfall with that. Yeah.
Okay, I start some questions from before. Kristen had asked, is getting bored a messy middle? Wondering if I truly get bored or if it's apathetic because I get hard or the excitement wears off.
That's a great question. That's a really awesome question. Apathy, I think, is definitely a messy middle. It's a sign of, resignation. We've just kind of resigned from that. Boredom, I think, could be as well. To me, when I hear boredom, and I'd have to hear like the example a little bit more specific. To me, boredom is, I would see that as more of a lack of clarity on something that actually lights you up and has energy for you. So to me, that would be more where I see you maybe benefiting is spending some time and getting really clear and making sure that the goals or vision that you have for yourself really actually feels good and is exciting for you.
Yeah, I love that. Um,
And give yourself, I want to say this. This has come up a lot in Club Moxy. One of the questions that comes up often is, oh gosh, I used to be so good at my morning routine, or I was really good at this one hobby, or I had the best habits. I was like, super consistent. And then something happened, like maybe it was a vacation or a life change, or they got sick. And they're like, I try to come back into that same consistency or enjoyment of that hobby or creative pursuit or that routine. And I want to say there are times when our seasons or our mood or understanding where we're starting at is different than where it was when we were really rocking with that thing. And it's okay to say, you know what, that routine or that hobby or that creative pursuit or that thing that I was doing, that habit, that goal I was working towards worked for me back then, but I think things have changed. And so that's why it's really important to give ourselves permission to say, I'm going to assess where I'm at every single day or every time I approach this goal, and give yourself permission to not continue if it's no longer in alignment now or even in the future.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Thanks for that question.
Yeah, it's
Um,
great.
the next question is, what happens when the next best step doesn't happen? That's where I get hung up the most. From Heather.
That's a great question, Heather. So usually the next best step. So there's some nuance there. We don't have control over the world. We don't have control over other people. And if that next best step is contingent or hinged upon something outside of our control, then I would argue that's maybe not the next best step. That would be my argument. I would ask you to bring it down a little bit and maybe go to maybe the next, let's do a little asterisk there, the next best step that you can do or that you have control over. And then if it doesn't happen or the result doesn't end up the way you want, then you just adjust. And then we start all over again. Where am I at? I have new information. That didn't work. All right, what's that next best step? And it's just that constant re-racking instead of getting stuck in, oh my gosh, it's not working out the way I wanted to, and it's all going to shit. And we start telling ourselves all these things. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Our next question comes from DB Davenport. How about goals that you have for your marriage? I know that I'm responsible for my own actions. What first step do I take? His actions are not good for me.
Yeah, that's very common. Relationships are hard. Relationships are one of the greatest growth catalysts, but we, like you said, we don't have control over our partners. That's when, and if you don't, again, clarity is important so that we can orient ourselves around whatever that next best step is. But that's a big one where we tend to think like, ooh, I've got this big thing I have to change or make better. And we can get stuck in lack of action. So what I would say is, what is that very first thing that you can even do tonight in 5 minutes or less? Whatever that is. I don't know what that is for you, but what is something that you could do tonight or tomorrow? Give yourself a deadline.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you can do? And it may be for yourself. It may be creating distance. It may be having a conversation. It may be setting a boundary. It may be communicating. It may be journaling, whatever that is. And then from there, then ask yourself, okay, what's the next best step from here? I want this to change. I want this to get better. I'm committed to it. What's that next best step? Just keep reorienting yourself around that.
Yeah. And then our last question comes from Marjorie. What is your fear? What if your fear is legitimate? I just found out the federal government canceled my citizenship ceremony in my country. How can I not be afraid?
Fear, notice that I said those feelings, we don't want to get rid of them. They're all information and they're all guides on our path. We just want to have a better relationship with those feelings. And fear is a very legitimate emotion to have. That protective part of us is very important. That's why we don't want to get rid of it. We don't want to fix it. So it's very legitimate. But what I would ask you then is say, okay, that's real. That's new information. We need to reorient. Okay, where are you at in this fear with this new information? How does that change things for you? Where do you sit today, right at this moment? And what's something that you can do for yourself tonight, today, tomorrow, that will move you closer out of that messy middle? Sounds like your messy middle right now is very much fear. What will make you feel empowered that you can do in 15 minutes or less tomorrow? Maybe that is self-care and just like honoring those feelings. Maybe it's taking action and figuring out what your options are, and just doing a little bit of research or delegating it to somebody else. It can look a bunch of different ways, but again, it's that reorientation. We have new information, we have new feelings, we have a new base point. I know I still want to work towards this. I want to feel good with this. What can I do right now?
Yeah. Good.
Mhm.
I'm checking to see if we have any more comments. Claire asks, is past Club Moxy month/year still accessible when you join, or has it been reconstructed to where it's just for the quarters information?
No, we have the full learning library, which is amazing, all the way back to 2021. So you've got almost 5 years of content that you can go back and watch videos and have the workbooks for, and we won't be taking that away.
Yeah. There's a couple more questions that slid through. You got some time, see?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Love this question, Kristen. Kristen asks, how do we handle the feeling that the small step will not get us where we want to go fast enough? As in, for example, a dream home, but I don't even make enough money to pay my bills.
That's very real. And that's where, this is where we start making concessions or agreements with ourselves or compromises where we're like, okay, I know I want this thing, but, and we start shifting. And again, it's all messy middle stuff. But here's what I would say. Let me ask you this, Kristen. Are you taking any action at all towards that? Or are you stuck in the messy middle? Because really, this is about being stuck in the messy middle. And that feeling of that small step, I want you to try it. Figure out one little thing for a week. Just commit to like this week. And then maybe the work for you isn't that you're going to make progress. It's that you're going to feel more comfortable with the pace that it feels like you're going now, and trust that messy middle will show up. All those fears are very valid. They may show up down the road, but right now, all you're focusing on is what you're going to do this week. Because doing that, and if you do that for 7 days, you will have 7 small micro actions that got you further than just saying, oh, I can't, I don't know, and being stuck in that loop. Does that make sense? It feels small, but doing nothing is even smaller. And that's what the messy middle does. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us out of action. And if we are not being kind to ourselves in wanting to judge or measure or make meaning of things, then it's okay to set the goal of like, I want to be nicer with myself around this. Like I've got some old programming and messaging that is just not working for me. And that can be part of your process as well.
Yeah. I love that. Our next question that I see is Caroline said, how do I deal with knowing I can change the deadline set for myself when I am unable to complete the step / am procrastinating?
Okay, so again, the messy middle, procrastination is messy middle. And what is the messy middle? It's protecting you. Procrastinating is a protective measure. Usually, procrastinating is protecting us from shame in some form, letting people down, judgment. It can be a bunch of stuff. I would say if you find that you keep moving the goalpost for yourself and you're not making action, or taking action and making progress, I would spend some time in getting really clear on what that fear is for you. And that's Club Moxy is really good for that. How do you orient yourself around that goal, and have a healthy relationship with it where you don't stay subconsciously stuck in the fear base of not taking action or getting past that point where you want to go because you're afraid of something. Get really clear on what that fear is. And I guarantee you just the awareness of that is going to spark something in you.
Yeah, I love that. All right, those are all of the questions that I see for now. But again, if you guys still have questions about our system, any of our products, Club Moxy, definitely make sure you're part of our Facebook group. Definitely, it's also linked in the description box. You can come ask your question there and we'll make sure it gets answered as well. But y'all, this was so good. Sierra, thank you. Like,
Thank
thank
you.
you for just sharing your heart and your wisdom and your gold nuggets. And that whole safety thing, like finding safety in the next best step, I'm still trying to marinate on that. Y'all,
Yeah.
I want to know, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? Like, let me know in the comments. If your team replay, feel free to drop it in the comments below. We do read the comments, so definitely put that below as well. But y'all, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited and grateful to do 2026 with you. And I just want to say thanks again, Sierra, for this was I don't know, I'm gonna say it was the best goal setting series in my book. I mean, I love them all, but this was just really great. And it definitely, I know, resonated with me and so many of our Moxy fam. And so any words that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I just want to say you guys have all sat through 2 nights and invested this time and energy in yourselves. Don't quit. Keep going. We need your hearts. We need all of us actually standing in a space of being empowered to go towards the things that really matter to us. That is the world. That is us shaping the world and making a better world for our children and for the future and for ourselves. It's so incredibly important to stick with that. So I hope you do. We would be honored if you did it with us. But either way, I'm sending love to you. I hope that you have a beautiful 2026. And I want to thank you guys for sharing this time with us. We love you.
Bye.
Bye.